Subject we're going to discuss now, although it's got a great shining light at the end of a long tunnel, it's quite serious. I lost a real close member of my family who was fairly young, quite young, who took their own life. And yesterday, found out from the NSPCC that Childline, which is a children's helpline, conducted more than 60 counselling sessions every single day last year with young people, often as young as 10, reporting that they felt suicidal or had suicidal thoughts. And you might feel that needs an organisation that would support kids in that situation. Well, in Manchester, Raise the Youth Foundation works with kids and works with the families who are, and I'm going to use the word marginalised here to a certain extent. And with me in the studio, Jason Steele is the founder of Raise the Youth. Connor Stevenson, though, is with me. And Connor used the service and has now changed his life. He's an apprentice youth worker. And if you don't mind, Connor, I'm going to start with you. Good morning, mate.
Good morning.
So how would you describe it? We use the term marginalised,
Well,
don't
should I
we?
start,
Go on. Well, you start where you want to start.
Obviously, back when I was a kid, I was involved in various, criminality issues and substance misuse, and there was places for me where I wanted to go. And Raise the Youth was there. It just opened in 2011. And basically they opened up the doors for me and believed in me. When you say issues of criminality, when I was younger, and we were just talking off mic, there was a road I could have gone down when I was younger that at the end of it was a prison cell. I know there was. I mean, I didn't, but it was there. But you talk that and substance abuse. Just if you could, definitely.
Criminality.
Just being around criminals in my environment and with people where I was living and the associates that I was hanging about with. They was involved in criminal activities, and for me it was sort of like I didn't want to be a part of that. I knew that I had more potential. You know what I mean? So.
But you stayed part of it. Why?
Because it was the environment I was living in at that moment in time. It was all around me, and I just would look for the closest escape, really, because I knew I had potential within performing and music. I've always been passionate about music and performing, and once I took that to Raise the Youth and explained to them that much, they sort of invested in me and made sure that there was music equipment for me to use. You know what I mean? And set me on the right direction. It was basically what happened. My mother passed away, and I could have gone two alternate pathways. I could have gone left, down the wrong side, or right down the right side. So Jason opened up the door, and I went down the right side.
We'll speak to Jason in a minute or two. So when I was a kid, like you, I heard the Beatles in '63. Wanted to be in a band. Also, though, I was always fighting with other young men. And if I'm being brutally honest now, and I don't mean that it's a good thing, but I quite liked people knowing who I was, and I got bullied at school, and I was reacting, and I used to sort of, I'll be honest, it gave me, it was cathartic fighting other young men and beating them when I was 16, 17, 18, 19. But I did realise...
So at that time of your life, though, 17, 18-year-old, that's all you live for,
that's
really.
Right.
That's all you live for.
Realised that if I wanted to be in a band forever, you know what I mean, onwards...
You had to change your life.
I had to change my life, so... But I didn't have Connor. I had to just do it. What did they say to you when you first went in, and you went into Raise Youth and said? They
knew basically I was full of life, and I was dead energetic, and I was very positive, and it was just a case of finding something what I would be interested in to keep me focused and driven. And it was music. Music's always been a big passion to my life, you know what I mean? I grew up listening to it with my mother, and I went to Raise the Youth and sort of seeing that there was equipment there and no one was using it. So I thought, you know what, I may as well get stuck in here and get on with the music equipment and learn and never look back, you know what I mean? So I just learned from there, really.
I'm back with you in a minute and we'll find out what you're doing now. Connor, good morning, mate. So why did you put this together? What was behind it?
I mean, not to go too much on about the personal, but in my situation in my life, my childhood was very, very difficult.
In what way?
In the sense that my father was always in and out of prison. My mother struggled with physical illness and mental illness, and really didn't have the capacity to care and look after me and my siblings. And I was a runaway child. I ran away at an early teenage life. I kind of made all the wrong mistakes. I was as a teenage parent, and that was kind of the catalyst for me, being a parent and knowing that what could go wrong if you wasn't a good parent kind of changed my life. Finding a love for children and wanting to make sure I could do the best by my children was the catalyst, really.
But you were there, okay? You were there for Connor.
Yes.
No one was there for you initially, because
Yes.
if you're founding Raise a Child, then it can't be there.
Yes.
So why do you think I'm actually going to do something about it? And who inspired you?
I mean, who inspired me? It was my grandmother was a really inspiring person. She always made sure that people were fed in the community, even then when she had very little. And my uncles were really hard-working people, even though there were drug dealers and pimps and really negative people around us. They was full of grit and determination. But some of the other inspiring people were the youth workers around Oldham. They're opening up their doors. Back in the day, when I was
different
a young
world
person,
then.
it was a total different world. You'd have church youth clubs, you'd have youth clubs at your local community, you could learn boxing, you could do music, you could do dance, you could learn if you couldn't read and write, you could eat if you was hungry, and they channeled the energy when, we was always scrapping on the streets and fighting, and they channeled that energy into positive things. So that was an inspiring thing when I kind of escaped, different various addictions and problems, and me struggling with my own health in terms of emotional well-being. I kind of decided to go to Oldham College, and that was a massive inspiring thing, education, because there was a tutor there that believed in me, and he got me to look in a mirror, and he said, look in that mirror. He's called Stuart Mackay, an amazing guy, and he said, look in that mirror, and he said, you can because you think you can. And that resonated with me, and it kept within me. And every time I kind of developed and went into social work and went into youth work and residential work, I always had this mission that I wanted to make sure I was a part of an organisation that helped children and young people. And it weren't until 2011 when things were getting really, really concerning for me and many professionals and agencies, because all the childcare and youth services were disappearing, and actually at a time when children, young people and families needed people the most.
How do you feel about that? Because when I was younger, and when you were a young man, okay, it was very informal. It's not as structured as it is now, but there were places that a couple of lads had run that you could go boxing. There were youth clubs, and it was very informal, but they were there, and it's disappeared. How do you feel about that?
I mean, initially, when it was, like I said, around the 2010-11, I was very, very angry, because I was a part of developing services for local authorities and local service providers, and we was doing some amazing things for the community, but for them to disappear, it does create a sense of anger and despair, really, especially when you know, and frustration, because you know that people are suffering at the other end of it. So for me, I wanted to turn that, rather than being angry, I wanted to make sure there was some action.
Final question, because I want to get back to Connor, Jason. Right, Connor, like me, when I was 16, 17, 18, 19, he knew that he had something about him. He knew he was bright. Might not have had a great formal education. He walked to your door and knocked on the door. How do you engage with a Connor today who's got all Connor's talents and he's bright, but doesn't know or hasn't got that last bit that he had when he thought, I want out of this. I want something better. That doesn't know that he or she can do that.
Yeah, I mean, Mike, what I would say to you is that Connor actually didn't knock on our door, and young people don't. Young people have lost a lot of hope, and they have low aspirations. So we go along the streets with our SOS Connected model, and we actually know, because we believe children are our future and they need investing. So we try and make sure we can see the good in them, show them what they're good at, try and find something that they love and invest in that. And we want everyone to do that, to invest in young people.
So Connor, Billy Big Time, it says here that you've got National Apprenticeship Award.
That's right.
Student of the Year.
Yes.
How do you feel about looking at the younger you?
Absolutely tremendous. It's a big, massive achievement for me, and who could have even imagined that I even could have got to that level, I'm so surprised within myself that it's inspired me even further to carry on the pathway.
What are you going to do? What are you going to do, Connor? What with your life? What's your thoughts now? You've got the skills, you've got the tools, you've now got the education.
Right. Yeah. No, I'm passionate about music, so I want to continue on the studies with music and become a music teacher and help spread the music and spread that love. You know what I mean? It's very important to me. You know what I mean? Because I want to be able to pass my skills down to the next generation and the generation again and again, and it repeats that cycle.
How can you, or what would you say if you found, what are you now, 20?
I'm 25.
Right, all right. I thought you were younger than that.
I think then, didn't I?
Yeah, no. What would you say to another Connor that's out there now that's 18 and that's got the same accent as you, same attitude, but at the moment thinks there's no future? What would you say?
I'd say believe in yourself, you know, don't lose hope. Believe in yourself. There's always someone there you can turn to, and you know, just remember that you've got your own skills and you can take control of your own life. You know, you've got the skills and the tools necessarily to do that. You know what I mean? Believe in yourself and just search for that greater help. You know, exactly what I did to take me away from all this stuff in the world what I don't want to be involved in. I see the potential in myself, and you've just got to see the potential in yourself.
Connor, inspiring, mate. So
Thank you, mate.
Let's come back to you, Jason. The future for you, and how do people get in touch with you as well?
I mean, you can get in touch with us on our website at www.raisetheyouth.co.uk. The future for Raise is we want to kind of have our blueprint of investing in children and young people through education and wellbeing, education in the sense of special education for social, emotional and mental health difficulties.
And how can people get in touch with you?
I mean, they can get in touch with us via the website.
You'll have a website.
Yeah. We do. We've got a website. They can get in touch with us via our telephone numbers.
It's called Raise the Youth, by the way. Raise the Youth.
Raise the Youth Foundation. Our school, because we developed a school a couple of years ago, and we was really proud that we got good with outstanding features, is a real new model of education because we really focus on the well-being of children and young people and make sure we do find the good and the potential in young people.
To finish with, from my perspective, and thanks both of you for coming in, I have so many people every day somebody comes through the doors between 10 and 11 and talks to me, and I do hear a lot about what's missing in society and what's been taken away. But to meet you two and to know that it's not all doom and gloom, that there are people like you out there, Jason, working, and people like Connor that have done something. Both of you, thanks a ton.
Thank you very much.
And thanks for having us, mate.
Pleasure, mate. Absolute pleasure.
Thank you.
Cheers.
BBC Radio Manchester.